What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is the one and only Cjthecheesedj here, and we're back with another ARK Insight video. And today, you guessed it, we're looking at the two roly-polies of the ARK world, the Doedicurus and the Ankylo. Now, these guys are the harvesting machines. This guy of metal, this guy of stone. You don't get anywhere building stone unless you have one of these, trust me. It's a very difficult and painful process. But before we begin, I just want to say, once again, a huge thank you to everyone who's liked the videos, watched the videos, subscribed due to the videos. It means a lot to me, guys. Keep watching them. I'll keep bringing them out as long as you guys keep watching them for me. Alrighty, now without further ado, let's get into it. So the Ankylo has the smaller health pool at 700, while the Doedic has a total of 850 health, which you can see there. However, the Doedic's stamina is 300, while once again the Ankylo's stamina is half of that of the Doedic's at 150, which is there. But for now, guys, we're going to take a look at their stamina from that flag to the flag all the way over there. We might wait for the mist to pass. You can see it's a bit foggy now. But I have the feeling this is going to be a very slow episode just because of how slow these dinos are. Next up, we looked at their movement speed. Now, the Doedic, as you can see, is a very slow runner. He takes his sweet time, but he managed to complete the course in 14.6 seconds. So from flag to flag at full sprinting speed, it took him 14.6 seconds. However, the Doedic has a unique ability where he's able to actually roll through anything pretty much, and he's able to, that requires a lot of stamina. As you can see, the stamina bar depletes at a very quick time, but it took only 9 seconds to complete the course while rolling. That shaves off about 5 seconds of time from the Doedic's original amount of running speed. So his rolling form is a lot more faster. However, it requires a lot of stamina. You're going to need quite a bit of stamina. Now, quickly, before we move on to the Ankylo, one more thing I want to discuss about the Doedic before we continue. This is, I think, is ridiculous. Look at the size of that crap. Look at the size of the poo. How ginormous is that? That is too big for this little guy. It's half the bloody size of him. Look at it. Look at that. How does this come out of this? It just does not make sense. I can understand the Ankylo pooping medium-sized poops, but the Doedic, look at it. When it poops, it's inside of him. Look, the point of pooping is to get whatever's inside of you out. Look at that. What is the point of pooping medium-sized poos when they're half your bloody size? Look at that. Let's get right in there and take a look at this. This is ridiculous. Look at that. Half of it is enveloped inside of the Doedic. The poor guy. He's got to have bowel problems. Seriously, to poop poops that big. Anyway, we're going to move on to the Ankylo's movement speed now. So after 20 seconds of sprinting, he finally managed to make it to the other side of the flag. So it only took 20 seconds for the Ankylo to reach the other side of the flag, while the Doedic took 15 while sprinting, and 9, I remember it being while rolling. So there's quite a big difference in between the two. Next up, we took a look at their stamina and how long they could sustain it for. So the Ankylo has a stamina of 175, and he managed to sustain it for quite a long time. I was surprised at how long he managed to sprint for. So he managed to sprint for a total of a minute. That's right, just under a minute. While maintaining full sprint speed, which is pretty impressive considering he's only got 175 stamina. So, you know, I was pretty amazed by that. Next up, we took a look at the Doedic, though, and there's flying poop. The Doedic also has 300 stamina, so it almost has double that of the Ankylo. And I was surprising to find that it pretty much ran the same amount of time as the Ankylo did. It just came in at 58 seconds at full sprinting speed, while maintaining full sprint. So, you know, there's a big difference in between the two. Considering the Ankylo only has 175 stamina, the stamina use between the two is quite large and variable. So definitely, you right there, buddy? You're just taking a poo? The stamina between the two is quite large, actually. I was expecting the Doedic to last longer, considering it's got the larger stamina. But anyway, next up, we're going to take a look at their swim speed. Ooh. And it's swim speed time. And, well, as you can tell, I'm just taking a lovely, leisurely stroll on my Ankylo. Now, he's not the fastest dino on land that can move in water, but he's still okay in my standards. I'm going to say it's okay. He's not too bad. You know, if you pump his movement speed up a little bit, he'd get that extra movement speed going for himself. He can attack in water, however, which is very strange but pretty impressive. So you can just come down to the bottom of the ocean or to like oil nodes on those little cliff bits and pump up your oxygen a bit, and voila, you'll have the ability to walk on land. Walk underwater. That doesn't seem right. Something doesn't seem right. Hold on. Something fishy is going on here. Why are we walking on? Okay, never mind. Never mind. That's not fishy. Alright, and now we're going to take a look at the Doedic. Alrighty, guys, and the Doedic moves faster than the Ankylo, in my opinion. However, you can't attack with the Doedic underwater. Now, another thing you can't do is do his rolling form underwater, which is a shame. However, I know for a fact that if you pump this guy's movement speed, he will move so fast in water. He'll be a little motorboat. He's much faster in water than he is on land, which is another bonus, and it doesn't use as much stamina as it does on land, so there's always that as well. Next up, we took a look at their turning radius, and you can see here the Doedic's turning radius isn't the greatest, but it's still pretty good. It gets him where he needs to go, especially if he's, you know, running around trying to escape predators, so it's still pretty good. Now that's at sprinting, you can see that we're doing a pretty tight circle. Now walking is even better. He pretty much just does a full pivot on the point, which is really amazing. The Yankee, however, has a slightly tighter turning radius. You can see here we're practically staying on the spot while sprinting, which is pretty impressive in my standards. Now, if you're coming around and you're going to do a real big swing, still pretty tight. His walking one, pretty much the pivot on the point as well as the Doedic's one. So that's pretty amazing. Next up, we took a look at their melee damage. Now, the Doedic has a base melee damage of 32, and his melee damage statistic is 134.1. So you got to do his times those together, and you get a total of 42.9. So that's how much damage the Doedic does to other dinos and structures. Which is, sorry, just dinos, not structures, which is 42, which is a pretty good amount, although I was expecting more considering his tail looks like a giant flail / mace thing that could pulverize anyone. Next up, we'll take a look at the Yankee's melee damage. So the Yankee has a base melee damage of 50, and all we have to do is multiply that by his melee damage stat, which is 134.1, and that gives us the amount of 67. So per strike on a dino, he does 67 damage, which is higher than I expected, to be honest. I wasn't expecting him to have a base damage of 50. That's equal to the Direbear's primary attack, which is pretty good in my opinion. I reckon the Ankylos could easily take out a Rex. Next up, we took a look at their gathering abilities. Now, the Anky and the Doedic, in terms of berry gathering, are around the same. Although the Ankyleo does gather slightly more berries due to it having the higher melee damage, it is still pretty much closely, and you don't really need the amount of berries that it's going to harvest. Like, let's be real here, you're not going to need thousands upon thousands of berries. However, the Doedic is also able to gather flint and metal. It is the best metal gatherer in the game from being able to harvest rocks. Now, the flint gathering as well is one of the highest in the game, and he's quite good at it. If you ever need flint, definitely rock yourself a Ankylo and go get that flint from rocks. You'll get tons of it. Now, as I said, you can see here the Doedic is unable to gather berries, which is at a downfall comparing the Ankylo, who is able to gather berries. However, the Doedic is able to gather lots and lots of rocks from, you guessed it, rocks. That's right. So it has the unique ability to gather tons upon rocks. Now, I remember when this dino first came out and stone structures had been out for quite a bit of time, everyone had to manually gather stone off the beach, which I remember was the favorite way to gather stone. As soon as this guy came out, everything changed, and it was so much easier to get stone. You see there, we just got 230 stone from a single rock, which I think we've got our harvest rate turned up to ×3. So you get roughly about 80 stone per rock, sorry. And, you know, that's pretty amazing. However, the only downside of the Doedic is that he has a very low weight. He only has 250, which isn't very well suited to gathering stone. Next up, we pitted them against each other. Now, you can see here, I am just unclaiming the Ankylo. They have both been set to aggressive, and we are about to see what goes down in a comparison of the two. Alright, we're going to stand back here, and here they go. They should start fighting each other, hopefully. Yep, there we go. And well, you can see there, each of their attacks, I forgot to mention as well, does do a knockback damage. You can see there, both of them are pretty much knocking themselves back in unison. It looks like the Anky is winning at this stage, however. The Doedic did have the larger health pool, however, so we'll see how this goes. The Anky did have the larger melee damage, though. Alright, so between the two, there's no real difference. You definitely should tame both of these up. I recommend taming both of them up, as both are invaluable. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to mention. Both are invaluable to a tribe or single players. Now, one thing I did forget to mention, whoopsie daisy, is that the Doedicurus has the unique ability to curl up into a ball when it's taken too much damage. You can see there, I think it's 25% of his health. Once he gets to 25% of his health, he curls up in the ball, and all damage he takes is reduced. You can see here he's got 273, and, you know, he didn't take any damage from that. So he actually regains his health as well at a faster rate while in the ball mode until he unwraps himself and starts attacking again. Now, I remember as well when this Doedic first came out, they were the banes of PvP because they were just able to soak turret bullets like they were nothing. It was amazing. Since then, they have nerfed them, so they are still slightly weaker. However, they are still able to mitigate a lot of the damage they take. Most tame dinos are able to kill them once they're bowled up. However, it takes a lot longer than you'd expect. Now, between the two, like I said, you should tame both of them up. Stone, metal, and flint, there's not really much of a difference that needs to go on between the two. However, the Ankyleo can gather berries, while the Doedic doesn't have the ability to gather berries. The Doedic is able to traverse water rather quickly, while the Anky is a little bit of a sloth. One thing we did forget, and you can see they're back at it again. Here we go. Now, you can see that he's gone straight back into his ball. Yep, and so 25% of the health, I'm pretty sure it was. One thing we did forget to mention was the Torpor, which we will quickly do now, and here is a table of the Torpor stats and how many trank arrows it requires for a level 50 and the decrease increment of Torpor. Okay, alrighty guys, well, that looks like that'll be it for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Doedic and the Anky, two of the main gatherers in ARK. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you can leave a like. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you'd like to see any more dinos. But for now guys, catch you later.